In the widely celebrated Chinese classic Journey to the West, the monk Tang Sanzong and his disciples visited the women's kingdom, a fictional land inhabited exclusively by women. But could such a place exist in real life? The answer is yes, and that place is Umoja Village in Kenya. More than just a safe haven for women who have endured suffering and violence, Umoja stands as a symbol of resilience and the fight for equality. Let us explore the inspirational story behind this unique village and the reasons it excludes men. During his visit to Kenya in July 2015, former U.S. President Barack Obama spoke about the global issue of gender inequality. He emphasized, "Around the world, there is a history of men oppressing women and treating them and girls as second-class citizens. These are bad traditions that need to change. There is no place in a civilized society for a child forced into marriage." While the world has only recently begun addressing gender inequality, 25 years ago, a group of women from Kenya's Samburu tribe took a bold stand against oppression, initiating a movement to create an independent women's community. In Samburu, a region where traditional values still dominate, women have long faced systemic injustices and violence. They are treated as property, owned by their fathers or husbands, with no voice or autonomy over their own lives. Age-old practices such as female genital mutilation, or FGM, and child marriage are the norm, imposed on all girls despite their devastating consequences. Female genital mutilation, regarded as a rite of passage into womanhood, inflicts severe physical and psychological harm. This practice often leads to infections, excessive bleeding, and long-term medical complications. Child marriage, another widespread custom, robs young girls of their childhood, forcing them into unions with much older men. These marriages often serve economic interests, with dowries paid in livestock exchanged between families. Young brides bear immense responsibilities and frequently endure domestic abuse, losing control over their bodies and lives. Take the story of Mamusi, a tragic yet all too common example in the Samburu region. In 1998, at just 11 years old, Mamusi was sold by her father into marriage with a 57-year-old man in exchange for livestock, a prized commodity in Samburu culture. This bride price system reduces women to mere property. She recalls the first day of her forced marriage as a nightmare, where her voice was silenced and her life was entirely controlled by her much older husband. Beyond oppressive cultural practices, many Samburu women have been victims of sexual violence, leaving lasting scars on their bodies and minds. During the 1980s and 1990s, British soldiers stationed in the area were accused of widespread abuse of local women. One such survivor is Jane, a Samburu woman. Through tears, Jane recounted being raped by 3 men in Gurkha uniforms while herding goats and sheep for her husband. "I felt humiliated and ashamed, unable to tell anyone about what happened. They did terrible things to me," she shared, her eyes filled with the pain of those haunting memories. At 38, Jane appears much older, a testament to the trauma she endured. She bears a deep scar on her leg, a physical reminder of the attack, but the psychological wounds cut even deeper. "I told my mother-in-law that I was sick to explain the symptoms of my depression. I tried using traditional medicine, but it didn't help," Jane said, her voice trembling. Instead of receiving compassion, Jane's mother-in-law told her husband, who then beat her with a stick, blaming her for the assault. Cast aside by her family and community, Jane faced stigma and isolation on top of the physical and emotional pain she had already suffered. In a patriarchal society where women's rights are ignored, such injustices perpetuate a cycle of suffering and despair from which women struggle to escape. Rebecca Lolosoli, a courageous Samburu woman, became a beacon of hope for women's rights in one of Kenya's most conservative regions. Born into a society where practices like child marriage and gender-based violence were widespread, Rebecca herself was sold for 17 cows and forced into marriage at the age of 18. She also survived a horrific assault at the Archer Post military base, where countless other women suffered similar fates during the 1990s. Instead of succumbing to despair, Rebecca fought back against the patriarchal system. She sought financial independence and advocated for women's rights. However, her activism made her a target. She was brutally beaten and robbed by men in her community, while her husband stood by, offering no protection or support. Determined to find safety and freedom, Rebecca left her home. In 1991, she and 15 other women who were also victims of abuse founded Umoja Village. Umoja, which means unity in Swahili, is more than a name. It is a declaration of the women's resilience. The village operates on a core principle. Men are not allowed to live there. This policy is not an act of hatred, but a measure to protect the women from abuse and threats. Umoja quickly became a sanctuary for women fleeing domestic violence, families who had cast them out, or forced marriages. The population of Umoja fluctuates, but at its peak, it has been home to about 50 families, including women and their children. Sons born to Umoja residents are allowed to stay until they reach 18 years old, at which point they leave to uphold the community's principles. Beyond a safe haven, Umoja serves as a center for women's education and advocacy. It raises awareness and instills values of gender equality in future generations. The women of Umoja sustain their livelihoods by crafting and selling handmade jewelry. Their intricate, colorful beadwork captivates visitors who come to the village. Women often gather under the bright sun, their hands skillfully weaving each bead into a necklace or bracelet while chatting and laughing together. Clad in vibrant clothing, patterned skirts, and traditional kanga shawls draped over their shoulders, they add a burst of color to the arid landscape of the Rift Valley. Above their huts, made of cow dung, bamboo, and reeds, clothes hang in the sunlight, creating a simple yet lively scene. In addition to jewelry making, they engage in small-scale farming and livestock rearing to meet their daily food needs. Small plots of land around the village are used to grow essential crops, while livestock provides milk and meat. Tasks are shared equally among the members, ensuring no one is overburdened and everyone contributes to the community's growth. Apart from crafting jewelry, the women also manage a campsite near the riverbank, offering a place for tourists to stay while exploring the nearby nature reserve. They charge a small entrance fee, hoping visitors will purchase their handcrafted goods to support the village. Nagusi, a middle-aged woman with 5 children, shared her pride, saying, "I have learned to do things that were once forbidden for women. When tourists buy my necklaces, I feel proud and happy." With no men in the village, the women have developed their own system of self-defense to ensure safety. The village is surrounded by a thorny fence to deter wildlife and potential intruders. They also organize night patrols to protect everyone in the village. Umoja operates on principles of democracy and equality. Major decisions, from financial management to internal issues, are discussed and agreed upon collectively by all members. This approach fosters unity and helps prevent conflicts within the community. One of the village's top priorities is education, particularly for girls. The women dedicate time to teaching their children essential life skills, such as crafting, livestock care, and basic knowledge to prepare them for independence in the future. Children are encouraged to attend school, and the community works to secure support from non-governmental organizations to improve educational opportunities. Most importantly, the girls are taught to understand their right to choose their own lives, free from oppressive practices like female genital mutilation or forced marriage. The women of Umoja act as mentors, not only teaching but also inspiring the younger generation to value themselves and dream of a brighter future. The women of Umoja have achieved remarkable progress in claiming their rights. Today, they have been granted ownership of land and property, a revolutionary change in traditional Samburu society. The local government has officially issued land ownership certificates for grazing fields to the women of Umoja, marking a significant milestone not just for the village, but for surrounding communities as well. Nolmungan, one of Umoja's longtime residents, emphasized, this change was unimaginable 30 years ago. In traditional Samburu society, women were not allowed to own land or property. Everything was controlled by husbands or male family members. But here in Umoja, through unity and determination, we now have our names on land documents. This has given us independence and serves as a powerful symbol of freedom and equality. Although men are not allowed to live in Umoja, many women still desire to be mothers, regardless of their marital status. To them, life's meaning is not solely about independence or freedom, but also about the joy, connection, and responsibility of raising a new generation. When asked why a village of women has children, many laugh and explain, "We still like men, they just cannot live here. But we want children. Women must have children, whether married or not." One young woman revealed she has 5 children, each fathered by a different man. She explained, "In our culture, being unmarried and having children is frowned upon. But without children, I would have no value." As she spoke, she washed her baby's clothes with limited water fetched from a nearby river early that morning. Jane, another woman in the village, shared her perspective. "I cannot imagine living with a man again, but I still want my children to have a good future." She chose to stay in Umoja for the support the community provides, ensuring her children can attend school and grow up in a safe environment. Umoja is a living testament to the transformative power of unity and determination. It shows how resilience and a shared vision can reshape not just a community, but an entire society. If you enjoy meaningful and emotional stories like this, do not forget to subscribe to our channel to continue exploring inspiring tales from around the world.